Hello everybody, welcome to this quick reaction video from myself, Steve-O, regarding today's Saturday night, you know what I mean, Saturday's afternoon's Premier League results, more specifically how, of course, they've affected from an FPL point of view, and I've got to say, I'm very happy so far. You can tell by my fantastic demeanour how happy I am with the free hit so far. It's gone better than expected. Mainly from the fact that the differential in Ollie Watkins came through with something which was completely unexpected. Let's not mess about here. He came through with something unexpected in which a start, because remember in the FPL community he wasn't going to be playing today. But the fact that he came through with a double-digit return, a goal and assist, could have got more today. He's going to get full bonus points. And who'd have known that he was the player to captain this particular game week? Who'd have thought that? But no, that was a huge bonus from my point of view. Because to be honest with you, today it's not... I think the results are quite surprising. Now, in the Super Brew game, I had Brentford and Brighton in a high-scoring 2-2 draw, ended 4-2. Crystalpalace Bournemouth, I thought Bournemouth may take advantage of Crystal Palace's poor form and win. It ended up being 0-0. Everton, I actually predicted 2-0 to Mancity. It ended 2-0. West Ham, drawing with Southampton. That is probably the worst result of the day. I think that is horrific. I think that was the kind of game that Graham Potter should be targeting to see what his players are capable of for next season. I really do think that was the kind of game that Graham Potter should be looking at his players and going, right, we're at home to Southampton, you go out there, enjoy yourselves, but I want you to put in a performance. I want you to put in a performance which tells me you're worthy of staying in the first 11 next season. They draw 1-1. That's pathetic. That is pathetic. Now, I have said in previous videos that we kind of now have to kind of look out for these Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich games, because don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting for one that they're going to be going out their way to be winning matches. But they'll be putting in a lot more tougher performances than what people think. Because they've got nothing to play for anymore. They've all been relegated. They're all gone. They've vanished. They're finished. So now it's about what's going to happen next season in the Championship. Who's going to put their flag in the sand and say, we're worthy of staying in this team? Or players that are in these teams will be going, we're still worthy of being in the Premier League. Hello? Look at me. I'm the most outstanding performer for Leicester or Ipswich or Southampton. I reiterate this point. They're still fucking shit. But, again, these types of matches are where the likes of West Ham should be comfortably winning. To come away drawing 1-1. That's hopeless. That is fucking hopeless. And then, of course, we end with the Aston Villa obliterate, and it wasn't they just obliterated Newcastle. The first half, very end-to-end. You know, I know Ollie Watkins had a few opportunities, but the second half, once Aston Villa scored the third, Newcastle were just waving the white flag. We're done. We're done. But what this does is now opens up the Champions League spots. Like I said, with Newcastle, Man City, Aston Villa and Chelsea all playing for something. But specifically in Aston Villa and Newcastle's case, because they seem to be the only two which have actually got some kind of, you know, grit in the race. They kind of seem to have this aura about them where they want to win. Chelsea are just, who cares? We're Chelsea. We've done it all before. Who cares? Man City just do what they do. Nottingham Forest are just unfortunately falling off a cliff. Now, they are away at Tottenham next, but they're falling away. Chelsea, as it stands right now with a game in hand, playing tomorrow against Fulham, which I actually think Fulham will win because of Chelsea's poor form. But they're on 54. Aston Villa 57. Nottingham Forest with a game in hand 57. Man City 58. So Aston Villa are only a point behind Man City. They're 2 points behind Newcastle. Man City are only a point behind Newcastle. And this is where, with our teams moving forward, we need to be looking at the likes of the ones that have got something to be fighting for. Stating the obvious, I know. I'm not blind, as Andy Millman says. And that's why tomorrow is going to be so interesting with Arsenal. Now, Robbie from AFTV was on Mark Goldbridge's That's Football prediction video. And he actually thinks, and I don't know, I'm being pessimistic at this point. He actually thinks that Arteta's going to put out a full-strength team against Ipswich tomorrow because he's making the point like I've made. They need to make sure that they are not only getting that third spot, but keeping up momentum. Keep up that momentum for not only in the Premier League, but more importantly, the Champions League. Keep it up. Just keep up that momentum. Now, do I expect Arteta to make changes from the normal first 11? Yes. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as 5 or 6, though. Do I expect Saka to start? It really is a flip of the coin in this specific case. It's very similar to who starts out of Rashford, Watkins and Asensio. Well, it turns out so far that the way I put it in order, Rashford was number 1, Watkins 2 and Asensio 3, with their minutes kind of being about similar, but a few minutes here or there out of it. Well, it turns out so far Watkins is number 1 from one game, then it's Asensio, then it's Rashford. But I think Rashford's been safe for the Man City game, personally. He looked good when he came on, to be fair. He did actually look eager, keen, knew how to see out a game. Asensio, as top quality player that he is, I don't think he really did anything in that particular game where it kind of was like, yeah, I need to be in the next match against Man City. A very fortuitous assist from Morgan Rogers. But overall, I think Newcastle fans will be disappointed. They will be disappointed by that performance. I just think they were, when the team is just like, we've just scored 9 goals against Man United and someone else who I've completely forgotten, Crystal Palace. But right now, please, we're just shattered. It's not an excuse. I just think it's just simple fact. They just weren't at the game today. But what I find interesting with this, so when I was going through the moderator leagues and I look at the various rivals that I've got, and like I say, the moderator league for me is just easy for me to get a grasp on the general consensus of what decent managers are doing. Well, if I bring it to you now, so Jason, he did his triple captaincy. Can you guess, as you're watching this on Premiere, can you guess who he triple captained? You're wrong. It was Kevin De Bruyne. He triple captained Kevin De Bruyne, a very ballsy move, which could pay off against Aston Villa. It could pay off against Aston Villa. And his team is Henderson in goal. I mean, the players that played today, Henderson, Sarr, Isaac, Marmoush, Kevin De Bruyne and Mateta. They were the players that played today. And he triple captained Kevin De Bruyne, and of course he's going to be gutted that he got nothing out of that. From 2 goals, he got nothing. And in fact, the second goal was scored after he came off. Came off for a Kanji. Now, will he be starting against Aston Villa? Of course he will. Of course he'll be starting against Aston Villa. Jason's transfers this week were Cucurella and... You couldn't make this up. Cucurella and Mbermo out for Saliba and De Bruyne. I think that there sums up Jason's season, as I'm recording this, right now at 1940, that sums up Jason's season. And Burmo with 2 goals and assists plus 3 bonus. Ironically, if he just triple captained and Burmo, that's what he'd probably want to get from Kevin De Bruyne from 2 games. 2 goals and an assist. That's hard. That's a fucking hard one to take. And you wonder why he doesn't do this channel much anymore. I don't fucking blame him. I do not blame him at all. Now look at Dan's team. So, Dan did played a bench boost. And I don't know how well he's done from this. Like I said, this is literally me just doing this live at the moment. It's pretty boring stuff, to be honest with you. But I always like just quickly giving a quick glance. So, Martinez has just played. Assuming he got 3 points. I don't know if he did get a save point or not. Which he didn't. So 2 points for Martinez. He had Munoz, Rogers, Sarr, Mateta. But his bench boost... yeah, that's not good at all. In fact, if you thought you had a bad bench boost last week... Have a look at this. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Pretty sickening. Areola, 3. Digne, 0. Mikalenko, 1. And then, of course, he's got Moreno in tomorrow, who I saw Nick from FPL Juice is captained tomorrow. So, you never know, Dan. That may come through for your next 2 fixtures. But, yeah, so far, getting 4 points so far on your bench boost is an absolute disaster so far. Now, my main rival in Firetog, he's gone and captained. He's gone and got his assistant manager on Arteta. He's got the assistant manager on Arteta. He had the double Man City defence, but he captained the same player as me. Captained the same player as me in Saka. Because like me, we have to be starting to make realistic, logical, differential captaincy choices. Now, Firetalk has got Henderson in goal. 29 points. Henderson in goal. And of course, with Arteta probably going to be beating Ipswich tomorrow. You know, it's just obviously it's just a safe move. But Henderson's going to be, I think he's going to get 2 or 3 bonus points as well. Diaz, I believe, is going to get some bonus points. And then the rest of it with Jacob Murphy, Isaac, etc., etc. He's going to be quite disappointed with that. But hey. And he's probably going to be playing his free hit next week in game week 34. Now, the team I want to bring your attention to is Harbour Boys' team, who is 4th. He played his bench boost, but he's one of the very, 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 very few teams that have got a full 12 double game week players and captaincy on Marmouche. And he played bench boost. So players, full player list is Raya, Vardio, Munoz and Saliba. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Savinho, Sarr, Salah, Rogers, Saka, Mateta, Marmouche. On the bench, he's got Martinez and then Konza. So he's got Konza there. And then along with Bradley and Isaac. So far, his bench, if you want to take that into account, 2, 4, 6 points so far. But he's got Bradley, who's pretty much guaranteed a clean sheet tomorrow, and potential attacking returns / bonus points regarding performing at whatever level like he did last week, where he got 3 bonus points. But for me, on free hit, like I stated in the video the other day, it's free hitters versus bench boosters. And you know what? I think me and Ray have come out of it decent. We've held steady with the shields. So the shields have done well as they can do. But so far, so far, the differential, specifically in this case, Watkins, has outperformed a lot of the other double game week players that people have got on bench boost, or the single game week players. Like, I've seen some teams with a full bench on bench boost of just Newcastle players. Some will have Dan Burn, who got an own goal today. Some will have, of course, the likes of Trippier and Livramento, who got 0. Alex Vollo, I think he had Shah, but he didn't play him. He was on the bench. But certainly from my personal standpoint, that one differential in Ollie Watkins is done pretty well. In fact, whisper it quietly, he's done very well compared to the other single game week players. In fact, he's got more points than a lot of the single game weekers. Like, I haven't seen many people with Bowman in the team. Not many people with a Burmo in the team. Do these players exist in people's teams? Of course they do. But from a rivalry point of view, I haven't seen many. Most teams that I have seen that I've either A, free hitted, or more specifically bench boosted, majority of it has either been, as I mentioned, the Newcastle players, or West Ham, but more specifically, because obviously Wan-Bissaka didn't play today, more specifically, Areola / another West Ham defender / Bowen. But again, I haven't seen many with those particular players in. So I think me and Ray can wipe our foreheads and go, you know what? We come out of it okay. Now if, and it's a big if, tomorrow Saka gets an attacking return, at this point, me and Ray are rubbing our hands thinking, you know what? He could do wonders against Crystal Palace. The history suggests they do very well. Like I said, if Robbie is right about him thinking that Arteta's going to be wanting to play a full-strength team against Ipswich and then Crystal Palace because they've got that break. They've got a week break, remember, until their next fixture. As I said yesterday on that video. Arsenal's fixtures, once they play Crystal Palace, they've got a lovely break. They've got a lovely break until that Paris Saint-Germain game. So, in theory, like I stated, do I expect Arteta to make a few changes tomorrow in the Ipswich game? Yes. But as Robbie stated, to be honest with you, let's go in it. Let's get the result against Ipswich with a full-strength team. Kill them off as quickly as possible so we can make the changes if and when needed. If and where needed. Then we're up against Crystal Palace, a local derby, where Crystal Palace are on the rocks and they're going to be concentrating on the semi-final. Then we've got that break. Let's play let's give or take, play 2 full-strength teams, get the confidence high. Then we're going into Paris Saint-Germain off the back of 2 wins. And then at home to Paris Saint-Germain. I think at that point, you know, because I was watching I watched like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and then like the last 8 minutes, to be pedantic, of Andy's live stream, deadline stream, and he was wavering between whether I go with Saka or Marmoush, and he kept saying about the only reason why he's not going with Saka is because of the fact that he's worried about his minutes, and quite rightly so. I just think that he should have just, like they state, go with your gut feeling. He really wanted to go with Saka. I understand why people were going with the safety in Marmoush. I get it. But they're away at Everton, and am I right in saying Marmoush hasn't scored away from home? So I think personally, depending on what your rank is, or if you want to go for it, I think Saka and De Bruyne were the 2. I think they were the two, because there was never any talk of any other player. Salah, okay, fair enough. But the three conversation pieces regarding captaincy was, well, it's going to be either Marmoush for definite, most people are putting him in, Saka second, De Bruyne third, and then anybody else after that is just a bonus. But it turns out so far, Ollie Watkins was the right one so far. But what's really good is this particular game week. We move into game week. Sorry, not game week. We move from Sunday into Monday, into Tuesday, into Wednesday. So no one on bench boosts that I've personally seen have got any Nottingham Forest. Or in free hit they've got Nottingham Forest. All Spurs. So Monday from an FPL point of view is a void. Then Tuesday, it's the big one between mancity and Aston Villa, because most of us have got 6 players in that game. Then we move into Arsenal Crystal Palace, where again most of us has got a minimum of 3 Arsenal and a minimum of 2 Crystal Palace. So those 2 fixtures on Tuesday and Wednesday is going to be the deciding factor on how well bench boosters versus the free hitters have done. Or in Jason's case, triple captain. Because like I stated, as we built up to this particular game week, as me and Ray kept talking about, all we did was shield off everything and then went for those small little differentials. And as I stated, 1 out of the 3 being Rashford, De Bruyne and Watkins, has paid off massively. And it could have turned out better, without wanting to repeat myself, but I will do. It turns out that, hey, Watkins has actually done a lot better so far than a lot of the bench boosters that I've seen with their single game week players. So yeah, and then if I show you the next game week team, in game week 34, where like I stated, all me and Ray need to do, this is great, is just do, let's get rid of, I thought I'd already changed it all. I genuinely changed this all this morning, would you believe? But basically, I will have to do 2 changes. As you can see, I've got 3 on the bench, which are all going to come in. And the changes are going to be Eze and Mateta out for Diaz and probably Cunha / Strand Larsen. That's all I've got to do. And then, so the team will be Areola in goal, Milenkovic, Murillo, Trippier. And then Palmer, Diaz, Murphy, Salah, Strand Larsen, Semenyo, and Isaac. And without going over it, because I'm going to keep repeating myself for the next few days, is that this game week 34 coming up for free hitters, it's going to be, like I keep stating, triple Newcastle, double/triple Liverpool, double/triple Wolves, and then the likes of potentially Sessegnon of Fulham, Fernandez, a Bournemouth player, maybe a Nottingham Forest player, maybe a Brentford player. But predominantly, the teams that most people are going to have on free hit is going to be what I've got up on screen here, give or take. On that note, I'm getting out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. See you later.